WWE NXT presented possibly one of the most important events of 2024 yesterday with the spring breaking week one. One of the things about this is it could be the last time we see multiple superstars competing on the gold brand ahead of the draft on Friday and Monday. Trick Williams looks to ride a wave of momentum, to defeat Elijah Dragonov for the NXT Championship, knowing that if he lost, he would have to leave the brand for good. We also know that Roxanne Perez was not happy to be having to defending her women's championship against both Lyra Valkyria and Tatum Paxley, who emerged with the gold. Well, we were about to find out. Sal Ruca targeted everyone, revenge against anyone that put her on the shelf. Blair Davenport and Natalia and Lola Vice signed the contract for the first ever NXT Women's Underground match, which will be next week. The family and the No Quarter Catch crew, it's a word and a half, isn't it, went to war in a 6-man tag match, and could Tony D'Angelo earn himself a shot at the Heritage Cup? Well, we're about to get into NXT. It really proved to be most must-watch TV of the week. Started off with the Roxanne Perez versus Lyra Valkyria versus Tatum Paxley match, which was actually really good. It was a competitive battle in which all three women actually nearly picked up the victory. However, when Tatum Paxley caught Lyra Valkyria with the 450 splash, we thought it was all over, but then Roxanne Perez flew in with the crucifix pin to claim the victory. And you know what? This was a great contest to open the show, and it showcased all three women. But I think in particular, Tatum Paxley, this was a huge step-up moment for her. She looked like she belonged in this. And a lot of people said it was like a weak link, in the triple threat. I don't agree with that. And I think Paxley really showed that she can go in this match. And actually, the crowd seemed more invested in the upset, and potentially more than anything, Paxley was far closer to winning the title than anyone could have expected, to be fair. Now, assuming Roxanne Perez and Paxley stick around on NXT after the draft this week, we should really get a feud between those two and really give Paxley the chance to show what she can actually do, because I think she is a top talent there. And, she could be a very valuable player for NXT. There was also a bit was mentioned about how close Paxley was win. There was a victory roll. So that she was so close to getting the pin to. The audience there absolutely erupted. It was so good. And again, I really want to see more of Tatum Paxley, and she could be a major player in NXT this year. The family took on the No Quarter Catch crew. I'm managing to get on with that one. While Dempsey, Kemp, and Miles Ball look great together, the family divided and conquered, shall I say. D'Angelo planted Dempsey with the spine buster for the clean 3 count and gets his shot, which is more important than anything else. But these 6 worked like this their entire careers, depended on it on this one, and it really showed. The contest moved constantly and highlighted the trio's chemistry, actually, of Dempsey, Kemp, and Bourne really well. And even though it was the best of look, the heels have actually looked at this. The family still outsmarted them move for move. The Don is definitely still a main event player, and Stax Lorenzo is actually getting better and better as NXT. As well as he keeps on learning at NXT. Let's not forget that NXT is very much a learning tree. I know someone has trademarked that over in AEW, but it is a learning tree for these guys. And Lorenzo is getting better and better and better. And Luca Crucifino has matched their energy as well early on in this match. And obviously with this win, D'Angelo should get the next shot at the Heritage Cup. And I don't really think he can afford to lose it on this. And it was a really hot start. So notable moments of this. It was a hot start. They started brawling before the bell could sound. They had a fiery hot tag comeback as well until Dempsey set up a suplex into a net breaker. And it was really, really, really good to see this trios match in NXT. And these 6 athletes can really go. And I really do enjoy watching those guys. And no quarter catch crew getting there is a very well organized unit with obviously the son of William Regal in there as well. Fallon Henry and Jada Parker was next. And basically, a lot of this was Fallon Henry rolling over Jada Parker with big strikes, but a couple of timely distractions from OTM at ringside set up Parker to plant Henley with the teardrop hip check for the win. I'm getting these words really confusing today. It's bad. I would say, though, one thing that's growing in my concern is NXT's refusal to push Henley. Now, with the draft likely to call up multiple talented women, she could be one of the top remaining stars in NXT. So losing to Parker might not have been the best option here. Although while Parker is growing popular with the fans, she's got a long way to go in the ring. And he's getting, I think personally, the push a bit too quickly. And it match was all Henley, and it should have continued to build to her as favourite to win the Women's North American Championship. And I think, unless there's a drastic change plan, for Henley soon, winning gold or turning heel, she's kind of wasted on that brand. And it could be that, that she could get the move up. Who knows? She could be getting one of those surprise picks, that could get called up. Sometimes in WWE they call up someone that you're not expecting, and it could be that one. And at the back after this, JC Jane and Jasmine Nix demanded a thank you from Hall and challenging her to a match next week. Lola Vice did reveal Shayna Baszler as her training partner, which was interesting. They signed their contract. Natalya and Lola Vice did sign the contract. She did reveal Shayna Baszler as a training partner. Carmen Petrovic knocked out the Queen of Spades, and Natty sent Vice into the crowd at ringside. This was as expected. A flat segment. Did it really need to happen in the ring with such a limited build? I don't know. I'm not sure. And I'm also not sure that Baszler should have been knocked out by a Petrovic kick like that. Shayna Baszler in NXT was untouchable. So I'm a little bit about this segment. The match itself next week should be really, really good, though. Although Ava, the NXT general manager, sold this moment as a monumental moment in women's wrestling. The underground, the NXT underground, doesn't really have to do a lot to, match up the promise of the match itself. But it could be a very one that surprises everybody. And the crowd did erupt for Baszler's arrival more than any WWE crowd have done in a while. So again, could Shayna Baszler benefit from moving down to NXT in the future as well? That could be something that happens there, and it could work for her going back down to the yellow and gold brand, or whatever you want, multicolored brand, or you want to call it. Now that could work. We'll have to see what happens during draft. We don't even know for certain that NXT are going to get wrestlers in the draft. We're assuming they're going to be involved. We hope so. We hope they're just not going to be involved in them losing talents. We like to hope to think they're going to get some talents as well, but we'll see. Beach Ball Brawl was next. Blair, bloody hell, these words today. Blair Davenport and Sol Ruca, was going against one another here. And Blair Davenport done a great job of unleashing the anger of Sol Ruca, who looked very comfortable in laying shots in on her eyebrow. And sometimes you get that when they're actually meant to be laying it in on them. Sometimes they don't always do it, but they did. But Sol Ruca certainly was very comfortable laying shots. And the end of this was when Ruca caught Davenport with a springboard soul snatcher to win. That is one of the craziest finishes in wrestling. If you haven't seen it already, go out your way to see it. While the props at ringside get too silly in moments during this, I did feel this was a really good battle. And it does show Ruca's major upside as a performer. She can execute big moves, especially with there's a veteran opponent there, someone that can work with her and sometimes drag her through a little bits of a match. On this, she can perform massively. And you know what? The right woman did win on this one. And Ruca should be getting or be gearing up for a major climb or a major push in NXT. She's another one that could be the first ever North American champion. And I think from Davenport from here, it's time for her to get up on that main roster and start carving a future on there. For me personally, I could be wrong. I thought it was a great match, though. There was bits on there where Davenport sent Ruca through a surfboard, for Christ's sake. But yeah, it was a really, really good match. And ultimately, Blair Davenport should be, I would call her up to SmackDown and let her see how she gets on SmackDown. Baron Corbin was next against Lexus King. Baron Corbin having a resurgence run in NXT and really actually doing some good stuff down there. It's good to see. And this is where I'm saying before that I know he come from NXT, went to the main roster, had limited success. He's come back to NXT and kind of reignited his career, you know. But there was a point here that Lexus King did bring the fight to Baron Corbin and did find his chance to hit a low blow behind the referee's back and hits the coronation to pick up the victory. I think this was a solid, more solid than outstanding, this match, but this was Lexus King's best match in NXT so far. I do think, though, having the Corbin there as like a reliable hand, you know, that really helped it, to be honest. And in a lot of situations, Lexus wouldn't have picked up that victory over someone over Corbin's level. But you do wonder if this, again, we're talking, a lot of this is talking about the draft, talking about the draft, talking about the draft. Is this Baron Corbin's last match on NXT? You know, he's put over the heel that they need, who needs to step up this year. I personally don't think Corbin should go. I think Corbin should stay on NXT. I don't know what you guys think. Let me know. We can, you know, let me know what you guys think about Baron Corbin. Does he deserve a call back up to Raw or SmackDown? I just don't see where he fits on the main roster. He's a great hand and he's a good worker. I'm just not quite sure where he fits for, you know, yeah, I'm just not really sure where he fits on the main roster. There was a part after this, Sean Spears continued to taunt Ridge Holland in the NXT parking lot. There was a TikTok by Metaphor. I think the best, you know, less said about that, the better. However, Elijah Dragonov, Trick Williams, main event NXT Championship. If Trick Williams was not successful, he would have to leave the brand for good. And they went to war on this. There really was. The bout was electric. These two click so well in the ring. It felt like it was a little bit rushed, I would say, but these two clicked so well. They hit the big spots so well. The crowd were absolutely loving this match. And I really thought it was an A+ performance. You know, this was so, so good. It was good that before that, Johnny Gargano actually come to Trick's locker room and gave him like a final pep talk as well. And that was good. And Damian Priest was even there and wished, you know, Dragonov good luck. They slapped hands and hugged before battering the shit out of each other. Trick sent Dragonov through the announce table with a bookend. I'm sure Booker T would love that. Dragonov hit 2 super H bombs, but Trick kicked out of both. And it wasn't enough. And Trick Williams managed to survive the onslaught, but it was the Trick knee in the center of the ring that sealed it. Trick Williams, the new NXT champion, they embraced, they hugged at the end. You know what? It was outstanding. And it was literally this whole show and this whole bit was complete Trick Williams' journey to the top. And it absolutely landed with that main event. It was one of NXT's best TV matches of the show. It was solid. It did feel like more of a traditional episode, this show, though. But I did really enjoy it. I thought it was really good. I gave it like an 8 out of 10. I think if it had been a billed as a premium live event, I think it may have been a bit lower. But because this was just a standard NXT event, it wasn't on any form of pay-per-view or anything like that. It really delivered as a solid episode of NXT. And we're really looking forward to next week. We know Ivar's going to be on there as well next week, challenging Oba for the, I think it's the North American Championship. So that's going to be a really good match next week as well. Looking forward to that. Looking forward to smashing out a lot of reviews this week. We've got a lot going on. AEW, we're going to be reviewing on Friday. That will drop Friday for you guys over the weekend. There's SmackDown. We've got Draft at night 1 to review. We have got Draft Night 2 on Monday Night Raw. NWA will be dropping tomorrow as well as we watch Hard Times Part 3. So keep it locked on the channel. And until next time, guys, take care. Good night.